what's going to happen is you're going to plant the seed and you're going to trust the process, because you know it's going to take a while for you to see the seed coming out of the soil, and for you to have a new plant coming out of the soil. You need to trust the process. What you're not going to do is you're not going to like dig out the seed every 5 minutes and just have a look and see, are you still doing good down there? Is everything going well? I don't trust that you're really going to come out at one moment or another. You're going to trust. And you're going to do everything that is in your power in that moment to give the best circumstances to that seed, which is you're going to water it, you're going to make sure there's enough sunlight, and then you're going to be patient. And you're going to be very soft and patient and just wait for the process to unfold. And this is what I keep telling my clients. If you want real change, you're going to have to set an intention. This is what I want for my life. Then you're going to be willing to go the steps. You're going to be willing to like trust the process, but as well getting to action, getting to aligned action. And then you're going to leave the seed by itself and leave it do its thing and let the magic happen under the soil before you can see what's going on, and just trust the process and keep going on. So this is such an important part in change, because most people have been programmed to be so let's say impatient with everything that happens. So we've been programmed to, order something, perhaps on Amazon or on all these big like online services, and we expect things to reach us within the shortest period of time. So we're extremely impatient, but with things concerning your life, you need to consider there have been programs being installed in your system for the last 10, 20, 30 years, perhaps all your life. And you need to just have some patience to let things decondition, to let things be deprogrammed, and to have enough space and room and patience and softness to let yourself experience something completely new. And most people don't have this patience. And what comes on top of that, most people have been told that discomfort is to be avoided at any price. So as soon as they have feelings come up like, agitation, or they're feeling unease, those are things that need to be avoided. So they want to right away call a friend, turn on the TV, turn on the radio, put on a podcast, read something, put on really loud music, perhaps overeat or do whatever the idea is to just numb the feeling and to just look the other way. So distraction is kind of like a huge thing going on in our societies in the Western world. And what I say is, why not be in presence with the discomfort? Why not slow down and, tap into that power of slow and stop running? Because last time we were here live with Paxton, we had like a very short interview, 15 minutes, and I spoke about, I'm from Germany, so I know about the Autobahn, the highway where there's no speed limit. And sometimes you see new cars, like sport cars, pass you at like 200 miles an hour, and they just pass you so quickly. That's like a normal thing going on in Germany. You have that all the time. And now what I want to tell you is, it's fun, of course, to go so fast, and we've been programmed to think that that's the only way. But when it's about your life and your development, we need to go back to nature, and we need to return to what's natural to us. And those speeds, those high speeds, are absolutely not natural. So what we need to do is like go from the velocity and just like slow down and just be there, be in presence, and just start to listen to the voice that's speaking to you. Start to really acknowledge what's happening right now, and just be in presence with exactly what the feeling is that's coming up for you in this moment. And I know it's very counterintuitive because we tend to lean into the feelings we want to have, like if it's fun, if it's passion, if it's joy, if it's gratitude, yeah, give me more of that. But as soon as there's a discomfort, we try to like zap away as quickly as we can. But I'm here to tell you, the antidote that you're looking for is in sitting in presence with exactly what is. And so tapping into the, I hope everything, so let me know in the comments if there's anything you want to ask about this, or if everything's clear, if something's happening within you when you're hearing what I'm saying. And yeah, and otherwise I'm just going to trust that you're picking up what I'm putting down. And I'm just going to continue with what I have here for you. So I want you to know, if you grew up as an empathetic being, as an empath in this world, and you've always felt, you know, the energy that's running through you, and you've also felt the vibration and the frequency that's coming off of someone across of you, and you've always felt like you needed to provide them with harmony, you needed to do something, you know, to pick up the situation, then you've started at one point to believe that your the recognition that you received is always connected to the things that you provide. You have to work to get love. You have to work to be recognized. And those are things that are so deeply installed in your system that it's going to take a while to deinstall them. And most empaths think, but that's my personality. That's who I am. But thanks to neuroscience, we know that the personality that you think to have is only the status quo. You can change your personality in every instance. And your personality is actually nothing more than the experience that you've made up until now. And you're like a radio receiver, and you're sending out like a broadcast signal to the world. And that broadcast signal that you're sending out today is your personality. But your brain is capable to change your personality. You can change the paths that you've been walking on over and over and over again. You perhaps have been accustomed to having a certain reactivity, or you've been accustomed to tap into sadness, or perhaps frustration, or you get angry at certain things, you get triggered at certain things. But that, you need to understand, is only the status quo, because your brain has developed certain pathways that feels familiar to you. And it's in your power to make a decision. I want to change that. I want to become so aware that I don't walk on these pathways like an autopilot without noticing it, but that I become aware of my way of being, and that I actively decide I want to change something. So even knowing that changes so much, because you know you are not the victim of your circumstances, and you are not the victim of your personality. So you don't need to, hide behind what's going on in your life and say, I have no choice because there are certain offenders in my life and I'm the victim of my situations or certain people in my life, because you are not. It's in your hand to actually make a decision. I do not want to victimize myself anymore. I want to take on a new attitude, and it's in my power to do that. And all of science is pointing in that direction and telling us we have the power to do that. Once we decide to step out of our comfort zone and into complete uncertainty and into the potential, tap into the potential of what lies behind that uncertainty. Because that is the only way out of your comfort zone. You need to face what feelings and emotions are going to be coming up and tap into this huge potential that is waiting for you to be discovered. So that is the first thing I wanted to talk about with you. And then also, what do you need to do to change your attitude? Because that is like one first question that I get asked. And most people are under the impression that the focus that they give out is to reality. They think that, so if I'm really angry, if I'm pissed off, if I'm triggered, if I'm sad, it's only because I'm acknowledging what's going out in the what's going on in the outside. So if I'm stuck in traffic jam, for example, there's someone, a terrible driver, then of course I'm going to acknowledge that, and I'm going to tell the world and my system that I'm hating what's going on. But what they fail to acknowledge is that there is no one reality. There's only your perception of reality, and what's going on, what's wrong in your perception is always available. But at the same time, what's right and what's good and what's playing in your cards for you, in your advantage, is always available also. Everything is always available. And it really depends on what you aim your attention at, what is going to receive all of your energy. And at the end of the day, you're always going to produce and create more of what you're giving your energy to. So if you decide to focus on everything that's going wrong, that's making you angry, that's making you feel like a victim in your life, that is what's going to get all your energy. And if we go back at my first example, that's the seed that you're going to water. The seed that's making you feel like a victim, that making you feel victimized, making you feel angry. So nature has no ethics. Nature is just going to make grow what you water and what you give sunlight. So imagine your focus is that water and that sunlight. So you're going to want to turn over to the seed that you want to be watering, that you want more of. So it's really like deconditioning yourself to keeping your focus on the things that you do not want. Because then you're going to walk around in your world and everything is going to make sense to you, because you're going to say, look at this. I always know that things are going to make me feel super angry, and I was right. But it's not because that's the truth that you were right, but it's because the things that you believe to be true are always going to be confirmed. So it's up to you to change these things around and just get a feeling that the things that are working in your favor and the things that you want to create more in your life are available at the same time. And all you need to do is train your focus to put the attention on these things. So those are things that are so important when you start to change, to just acknowledge there are things that I haven't been doing, but they're actually super important to allow myself to change. Because we are all conditioned and programmed to stay in our seat and be kind of entitled and say, but I'm such a good soul, so what I actually want in my life is I want perhaps a partner, or I want love, I want deep connections, I want success. And then we sit there and we expect these things to be presented to us on a silver platter. We are entitled. But what we actually need to understand is nothing changes until you don't. You need to become that person who has all these things in your life. You need to become that energy that matches the thing that you most want. And it's up to you to make these things happen, to, stand up, to get out of your comfort zone, to change the way you think and change the way you feel, and to change the way you walk out into your world and start making things happen. And when you start to transform into that person by walking out and taking the action steps, by doing things that feel aligned with a new version of you that you want to become, then you start magnetizing all these things into your life that are an energetic match to who you're becoming, instead of keeping you imprisoned in that cage that you're in that is keeping you frustrated and small and angry and victimized. So there's a huge, huge difference. And I would love to hear from you guys. So if you're in the chat, if you're here actively listening, just let me hear what you think, or let me see an emoji just to see that you're here and that you're understanding what I'm talking about. I would love that. I would love that. So yeah. So
you're awesome. I don't even know where to come in and take a break and jump in. I'm taking notes of what you're saying. Trust the process. Stop running.
I love that.
Autopilot.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what's happening now, this is the first time ever on NATV Network someone's been able to, as it were, dominate like you just did right now, and all of it was excellent. I am sorry. I would normally tell you this after the show, but I am giddy as I don't know what watching you do this. I could literally watch you, and I'm watching you on a couple of big screens that I have here, and you're doing an excellent job. Today's show, everybody, and I'm jumping in because I told you ahead of time, I know you have more, but I want everyone to go to her YouTube channel, which has been streaming across the bottom of the page, so that you can get more of what Deborah is speaking about. And you were excellent. If you can kind of feel my smile coming through the microphone, you're absolutely excellent what you said. And I really need the audience to understand you're going to get more of this right here on NATV Network. We're going to end the show, but before we do that, I got to get back to the first 20 people thing you mentioned.
Yes.
Before I hit the go live button.
Absolutely.
And go ahead and talk about that.
Well, thank you. First of all, thank you so much for your kind words. And to the audience, this is the very first time that Paxton hasn't been on screen with me, and now he is. Thank you so much. And it's so comforting for me to have you on screen and to see your face. And no, I really love that. And because I need to feel, my work, and I'm just going to, talk like 30 seconds about my work and how I love to work with people. I'm a connector. I'm an educator, yes, but firsthand, I'm an energetic connector. So what I do is I connect with your energy. This is why I really love to have interaction. I love to have someone on screen with me. I love to see who I'm talking to get a feeling if, what I'm putting here is being picked up the way I needed to do. Because if you're going to want to change your complete life, this is like a trip you're going to go on that is going to take every single part of you with it. So it's going to take your mind, it's going to take your energetic system, your emotional system, and your body. And to do that, you need to be so dedicated. You need to really decide for yourself, this is changing today, no matter what. And I'm all in with this. I'm going to give it everything that I have at the point that I'm standing at. So there's no argumenting like, I'm too old, I don't have what it takes, I'm too weak, I can't do this, I've had many bad experiences in my life. The only thing you need to start is your willingness to do it. You need to be super dedicated, and you need to say, I want to make my life change, and then we can make it happen.
Absolutely beautiful. I'm going to jump in here for a second. I've got a whole private chat thing happening as the show is going on, and everybody's asking. They want to know about the first 20 people thing, real quick.
And that's exactly what I was going to say.
And we've done really good. We went 28 minutes, and it was really educational. But can you tell people about that? Some people are asking about that.
Yes. Because what I do, I work with my clients one-on-one, and I have so many people who have come up to me in my community. I'm super active on TikTok, I'm active on YouTube, a little bit on Instagram at the moment, and so many people have been reaching out to me and asking me, do you have anything that can get us started? Do you have anything we can do, like a self-study program, something we can get to know your work and know how you work, what impact this can have on my life? And then, you spoke and I listened, and I was like, okay, I really need to develop something. So I tuned into myself. What would I have needed to get myself started, like years back when I, really got started on my spiritual path? And I started to see patterns with all of my clients, with everyone I've ever worked with, and with myself. And I narrowed it down to 6 keys. The 6 keys you need to master to have more ease in your life, more, serenity in your life, more inner peace and emotional freedom from everything that's keeping you like in a cage at the moment. And I've done like a super small mini course. I have 6 video modules, and every one of those modules is under 10 minutes. So you can really focus deeply into the things that really matter and that have potent power in your life. And that mini course consists of a workbook where you can dive in super deep into your self-reflection, and where you can ask yourself questions that you've probably have never asked yourself, and really go deep and sit your bum down and be with that content. So that's exactly why I've narrowed it down to 6 modules, and I've kept it super compact. And I have this mini course up, so you can go into my bio and just click the link and just buy it. Make sure to buy the English version and not the German version. And I already have like beautiful people who have booked the course in my German community, and they're absolutely loving it. And I want to gift you something, and that's what Paxton has asked me to talk about, because for the first 20 people who book my course in English, I want to gift you a Zoom session, a live Zoom group session with me, where you will all have the possibility. I will open up that space to see you on screen, and you have the opportunity to ask me your personal question, and so I can kind of accompany your journey with a mini course. And that's an opportunity that is huge, because I usually only work on a personal basis in a Zoom room with my private one-on-one clients, which is like a huge thing. But if you're one of the first 20 bookers of this amazing opportunity, I want to gift that to you as a super bonus.
And what do they get with that? Again, just real quick.
They get the workbook, they get the 6 video modules, they have about 1 hour of video content and super many hours of workbook possibility to go deep into journaling, into prompts, to really upgrade your life and have all of this knowledge go into your everyday life. And on top of that mini course, I'm going to give them a free Zoom group session with me.
Awesome. Awesome.